The hectic and short special election season garnered national attention. Here to help put that mayoral race and its outcome into context is political science professor and analyst Carl Luna. Good to see you again.
Good to be here.
Now, I recall when we first learned that 3 Democrats were running against 1 Republican candidate, you predicted the Democrats would lose. And that's what happened. But recent polls before the election showed there was about a 1% gap. Why do you think there was such a landslide in favor of Kevin Faulconer?
Well, Peggy, it could have been a couple of things. I think that because we're in a changing electorate, the pollsters are trying to adjust their model of what is the typical voter, the likely voter, and they overestimated Democratic turnout for this race. They kind of overestimated the county registrar thought 40-45%. We were down in the 30s. Unless Democrats can see an overall turnout of over 40-45%, they have a hard time still winning because of low propensity of voters. Part of it's also, you know, in polls, people don't always say exactly how you feel. And David Alvarez, a young Hispanic male, has a pejorative going against him for some voters that may not have been reflected, and those who supported him maybe have overstated their degree of support.
Wasn't the early stage strategy, I should say, to knock out Nathan Fletcher out of the race so that Fletcher supporters would actually vote for Faulconer? Do you think that happened?
If you look at it, Mr. Faulconer didn't pick up as many new votes as Mr. Alvarez did. Mr. Alvarez went from 26% to 43%. But Mr. Fletcher or Mr. Faulconer went from 43% to 55%. He picked up a good hunk to get over the line. Those had to come from somewhere, and a bunch of those people were Nathan Fletcher, Mike Aguirre voters.
Do you think the early split in labor with Lorena Gonzalez supporting Fletcher during the primary actually came back to hurt the Democrats?
The Democrats entered the final campaign as a house divided, and I don't think they were ever able to heal that. They went to a progressive liberal with Mr. Alvarez. I don't think they ever grabbed back the moderate base within the party, and there were bad feelings. You were demonized in part in the party if you supported Nathan Fletcher.
What happens to Faulconer's District 2 city council seat? Do you think he's going to be a Democrat might be appointed to that?
Well, you got a 5-vote majority on the city council. I would imagine Democrats would try to choose a Democrat if they could. Maybe somebody who could be a potential candidate in the spring, like Ms. Boots, the attorney who's looking to run. That's a district in play. Mr. Faulconer was able to win it, but it could conceivably go Democrat and stay Democrat. Anything the council Democrats could do to help it, I would expect they would.
So will Alvarez and Gloria both be voting on this, and who's going to be the replacement?
The only consolation prize David Alvarez has is he gets to vote on who replaces Kevin Faulconer in District 2, and he also gets to be part of what could be a supermajority of Democrats in the council that can block vetoes over the next 6 months.
And that's what I wanted to ask you about, the challenges that the mayor-elect will face. He's, you know, Republican, of course, with a potential supermajority on the city council.
Good news for Kevin Faulconer, he won. He's the mayor. The more difficult news, he's going to have to work very hard with the council to get things through that they can agree on, but there'll be stuff they won't agree on, which is going to be minimum wage, community plans, Barrio Logan, and push comes to shove, he may lose a few until he sees what the council will be like in November.
Yeah, and he's basically said, I just spoke with him, and he said that, you know, it's not a Republican-Democratic thing, that he wants to work together. Do you see that happening?
Well, it's not a Republican-Democrat thing until it is, which means when you have to look at elections, money that comes in, real clear differences in agenda, which did not think got reflected as much in the name-calling of the campaign. At the end of the day, you either raise the minimum wage or you don't. You approve Barrio Logan and maintain it and defend it, or you don't. There's going to be some serious issues down the pike to deal with.
Well, the Filner scandal is over. A moderate Republican will now lead the city. Do you think it'll be business as usual, or do you think that, as Todd Gloria said, the Alvarez candidacy has changed the city for good?
I think the Bob Filner win was a sign the city had changed, and then he kind of soiled that with his own problems. The city is becoming more Democrat, more non-white. It's changing its base, and we're still sorting that all out. As such, the council is going to push a more progressive agenda than you've seen councils do in the past. Mr. Faulconer may be able to contain that, accommodate it, but ultimately it's becoming a blue city. What Mr. Faulconer offered was Republican 2.0 for San Diego, an attempt to be a kinder, gentler Republican. We'll have to see how that administration plays out.
Do you think this election could mean trouble for upcoming elections in November as far as party-wise?
Well, having the mayor in your party as a standard bearer definitely helps. The Jerry Sanders endorsement probably helped Mr. Faulconer more than the Obama endorsement helped Mr. Alvarez. That being said, when you look at the seats up, Donna Fry's old district is up for grabs. That's a district that can go Dem. You could see it happening with Kevin Faulconer's district. Bit by bit, the city has gone progressively more progressive. And given demographics and all, I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
Well, Mesa College political science professor Carl Luna, thanks so much for an update on this.
Thank you.